Welcome back to Media Addicts. Today we've brewed up a Halloween special where the crew reviews spooky media, new and old.
I am Ben Kernan.
And I'm Thomas Casterline.
And welcome to the Media Addicts Halloween special.
Today on Media Addicts, we are reviewing Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas is a movie about Jack Skellington, who is the Pumpkin King of Halloween Town, who ends up discovering Christmas and tries to make it into his own holiday.
Boys and girls of every age, wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see. This our town of Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Pumpkins scream in the dead of night. This is Halloween. Everybody make a scene. Trick or treat.
Oh, I thought the movie was really good. I like how it mixes both Halloween themes and Christmas themes, and also even adds, to pull it all together, it's a musical, which musicals are rarely entertaining for me because I can find them to be kind of annoying. But this one was really good because the music in the movie is fantastic.
And it's all done through claymation, so that's quite an impressive feat, I think.
Definitely. Speaking of the music, too, I think that's probably the movie's strongest point.
Right.
Is all the music in it.
All of the writing is really good, and it was actually done by the voice actor for Jack Skellington. And the singing is pretty good, but the acting is not as good. Like, they all already knew how the writer wanted it all done because he was actually involved with the singing, but the acting isn't really as strong. I kind of see it as like they were more focused on it being a musical than it being an actual, like, a play kind of thing. So they do well with voices and acting for the most part, but some of the voice acting isn't as good, like with characters that aren't main characters.
Yeah, most of the side characters definitely have some. Their voices don't really match what you'd think their voice would be. Like, I always thought the doctor scientist who made the female lead in the movie, I felt that his voice was a little off at times. Although I think that might have been intentional because he's a mad scientist, so obviously he wouldn't be normal.
Right.
But the side characters are a little off when it comes to normal acting. But all the singing's great. I don't think there's a bad song in the movie, really.
With that, even speaking of which, the characters are pretty good. The designs for the characters and some of the backstories and all that stuff, really good. They my favorite character is probably the mayor because most cartoon mayors usually are like either in control or all proud or whatever, or are panicking. But this mayor has two halves of his head, and it will switch for whichever mood he's in. So he either is proud and in control, or he's panicking and just losing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of great designs for characters, actually. I think the claymation is actually really good. Although I think at times it's a little wonky at points.
Yeah.
It can be kind of dated. You can notice how it moved a little bit too much than it should have, or things aren't really bending the way they should at some points.
Right.
But all the models look great. They all look like scary monsters or whatever they're supposed to be. And I think my favorite art aspect is just Halloween Town in general.
Right.
It looks really good.
Yeah, I think the only problem I have with the animation is sometimes when they aren't speaking or they don't have some sort of recording in for their voice, they usually have like a weird, like some sort of just a facial expression in it. It gets awkward at that point. But it's not really like it's not like they could help that or anything. If they were just making sound the entire time, then it would just be annoying. You know?
I think overall the movie was really good.
Yeah.
Maybe at some points it's a little dated, but I still think it's a great Halloween film and Christmas film.
Right.
I think the Halloween aspects could have been a little bit touched up more. I feel like.
I personally think the Halloween aspect of the movie is the best half of it. The Christmas part is kind of weird to me because it's all cheery and happy and everything. But I guess it kind of shows a huge contrast between the two and kind of emphasizes them both more.
Yeah.
But I do agree that they should have explored the Halloween half of the movie more because I think it was fantastic.
I think out of 5 stars, I'd give it a 4.5.
I
It's near perfect.
I would give it a 4.5, and it on a scale of 1 to 5 for how much it puts me in the Halloween spirit, I'd give it a 5.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
The only problem I have is the Halloween part of it, just not having enough of that. So,
Yep, I agree.
all right. So I'm Ben Kernan,
I'm Thomas Casterline.
and we'll see you at the music review. Hi, I'm Ben Kernan,
I'm Dylan Lowry.
and this is the music review.
Today on Music Review, we're reviewing Slipknot's The Gray Chapter and Demon Days by Gorillaz.
The Gray Chapter is, what would you label it as? Like a screamo hard rock kind of thing?
More of a metal feel.
Right, it's a bit more metal. This is more of a You album, I would think. Do you have anything to say about it?
I really do like this album. It's not as hard as most of their stuff, but it is pretty hard. And they got a couple softer songs too for people that don't like hard music. But most of this album is usual Slipknot, hard stuff. It's perfect for Halloween.
I personally, some of the metal stuff kind of turns me off because they just have lazy writing of like pointlessly putting in like the F word like every 10 seconds. I don't know. But I don't like the hard songs as much because they kind of sound like, they all sound like way too similar to me, all of their hard songs in this album. But the soft songs I think is where this album really shines. The soft songs are really good, especially Goodbye. This is probably the best song in the album in my personal opinion. So, yeah.
My favorite song is also Goodbye. It's unique, and usually it's not like regular Slipknot. Like they don't have a lot of songs like this.
Right.
And it's kind of like the oddball of the whole album.
It has more of a, it has a nice message, and it's a beautiful song. Like, it's not really Halloween. The song, I think it was saying, get ready to go to hell, I think is what it's called. It's very scary. If we were going off of Halloween songs, I would probably say something about it, but I don't know.
So what's the rating on what you'd give this album?
I would give it a 2. I gave it the other star because it has Goodbye in it, which I can't even remember the tune, but it wasn't a bad song, so I gave it 2 stars.
I give it a 4 because this is kind of my music, and I do like it, and I think they did very well.
Yeah.
How much does it get you in the Halloween spirit?
I'm not sure. That one song got me into it like with a 3 star because it's more just spooky than it is like Halloween.
It's a very, very messed up album too.
So onto my music. Demon Days by Gorillaz. I think this is a very fantastic album. It's got a mixture of some electronic stuff with a lot of rock and hip-hop at the same time. It's very unique, and it's my favorite album by them. I personally think it's their best album. A lot of other people do too. What did you think of it?
I really like, this is my favorite album by them because it's the only one I actually listened to thoroughly. It was a good album. It's not really like their usual stuff, but some of it is.
Right.
But it's a good album. Definitely one of the better, and it does get you into the Halloween spirit because it's pretty much all about Halloween.
It's mostly about, it has a bit of a message. It's having your inner demons and like discovering yourself. And the end of the song, the end of the album, ends up having the demons go away and realizing, or not really realizing who you are, but kind of just being all right with how you are just by yourself. That's actually what the song Feel Good Inc. is mostly about. That's probably their best song on the album. It's about kind of just finding what you do to make yourself feel good, you doing that instead of all the partying and all that stuff. So I would give it a 4.5. I'm not gonna give it a 5, even though it's one of my favorite albums. There are songs that should be in it, in my personal opinion, that weren't, that were B-sides in the B-side album for this one. But it's still fantastic. There's maybe one song I don't like, but it's still a really good album.
I give it a 3. Not really. It's not a bad album. I think it's good. It's just not my usual listen to, and it's not something I would recommend because it's not something I can get into. But all in all, it was a good album, and it's one of the better, I think.
All right. Well, this was the music review. I'm Ben Kernan.
I'm Dylan Lowry. We're out.
Catch you at the game review.
Hi, I'm Tom Casterline,
I'm Dylan Lowry.
and welcome to Media X Game Reviews.
Today on Media X Game Review, we'll be reviewing Silent Hill for the PlayStation 1.
Silent Hill is about a man named Harry Mason who was driving through the town of Silent Hill with his daughter Cheryl. And after getting in a car accident, he wakes up only to find that she's missing. And after going to search for her, he finds out that the town is completely twisted with monsters and rusted buildings and cults and all sorts of awful stuff you do not want to find in an abandoned town. And it's definitely got its horror aspects down really well, I'd say. And it's one of the originators of survival horror, I think, along with Resident Evil and Clock Tower. It's one of the first that did it. And overall, I think the game is very good.
I like the game too. Like, gameplay was a little hard to get used to at first because you gotta position your character and then move, so it's not really easy to play. It's not a game I pick up and play. You know, you gotta be certainly into those kind of games to be able to play it.
Yeah. But I think the gameplay, while, yeah, it's hard to get used to, it also kind of emphasizes the horror aspect of the game, because since you know that you're not going to be able to control yourself very well, do you fight this next monster you see, or do you run away from it? It's got a almost human aspect to it, I want to say, because it's like in real life, if you were in this situation, you wouldn't just fight everything you see, you would probably run away.
If you've never played this game and you see it in real life, you would probably run away.
Oh yeah, definitely. You would definitely run away.
It's got a lot of monsters and
I do agree, though, the
stuff in it.
gameplay is a little difficult to get used to. But after you get used to it, it becomes sort of a non-issue, I say. But it's...
just one of those things that adds to the game,
yeah, it's classic, really.
really.
It gives you definitely an old PlayStation 1 feel.
So another thing I like about the game is the music. The music
Oh, yeah.
flow is just really, really good with the game.
The composer actually left the company recently with the newest edition of Silent Hill Downpour. But he did really good with the music, I'd say. A lot of people really like the soundtracks to these games. And
lot of-
I really like the intro theme, too. I don't know
A
what it's
lot
called, but
of
it's
the
really
music, really, like, some of it's not even music. Some of it's just like sirens and whatnot.
good.
And
Hospital drills.
Yep.
The most pleasant noises you can find.
it's adding to that horror fact again.
Yep. I think the music is probably the scariest aspect of the game because the graphics are
Dated.
dated, very dated. They aren't bad, they're dated. PlayStation 1 is super old compared to what we have now, and it looks all jaggy and blocky and
PlayStation
pixely.
1.
Yeah, PlayStation 1 basically. And it's not a bad thing that it looks like that. It's just that compared to what we have now, it's super hard to look at it with fond memories because nowadays you got the most realistic looking thing. But with this game, it's obvious you're playing a video game.
Right. It definitely does show you that they tried hard to make it scary because even with the graphics that are dated, it's creepy. It's not really scary, really, but it's creepy.
Definitely. I think overall, though, the game is just really good. I think it's still really good. A little dated, but I think it's really good. Out of 5 stars, I'd give it a 4. Easy 4.
Yeah, I'd give it a 4 too, mostly because it's dated, but it's a really good game, and it's all really unique. But one thing I don't understand about it, even with the dated graphics, is the cutscenes. They're really well done.
Oh yeah, the FMVs are still super good. PlayStation 1, I feel, had some off-looking ones, but this one was really good. And I think for getting in a Halloween spirit, it's good at that. It's spooky.
Definitely, for being the gateway into most horror games, it definitely did really well.
I mean, playing it at like the middle of the night with all the lights off, it's definitely a very creepy game if you want to get yourself in the Halloween spirit.
Yep. So this has been Media X Game Review. I'm Dylan Lowry.
And I'm Thomas Casterline.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this time.